one is going to be crowned your WOR Season 10 champion.
And history's been made. Ballina, the first WOR PS4 champion. What a championship, what a season. Absolutely phenomenal.
Good evening, everybody, and welcome to WOR. It's around. Oh goodness! Completely caught me off guard. I should really know this one. But we're at Belgium for what is going to be an absolute cracking Grand Prix, one of the most historic on the circuit, in my opinion. And these guys are all ready for qualifying. We're just going to have a quick chat about the championship standings. Ron Hard didn't score points 2 weeks ago, and it's made things everything really tight. I am joined for commentary once again by Antiv. Oh, Rabbi, welcome. This is going to be an absolute crazy. And I think I've still got the music on. That's a bit awkward. So apologies, guys. But Antiv, welcome to this one. And Belgium is an absolute crazy one, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. I hope everyone's having a good Monday, and we're here to spice it up a little bit more in the evening. But yeah, no, Belgium is going to be, it's just one of the most iconic tracks. You know, we've hopped straight from Silverstone over to Belgium, and you know, it's just a really good race. You've got some nice long straights, some really good driver corners where it's just long, fast, sweeping corners where you really do need to nail the apex. So yeah, you know, it's going to be good. It's going to be good. We've got a lot of good racing opportunity here.
Now, we had the PC side of things return yesterday, and that was absolutely great. Nice to see they've fixed a few of the timing syncs, the issues that we've got going on, and it is now back to the Xbox side of things today. But there is loads to still talk about. Obviously, Ronha, we spoke at the beginning of the race 2 weeks ago saying, it doesn't look like, I know we spoke before the stream, it doesn't look like it's going to, Ronha's going to drop points. It's the way he's going. He's looking absolutely phenomenal, unbeatable. And then all of a sudden, no points for Ronha, and Shadows come straight in like a wrecking ball, really, and got himself into a massive strong position for this title.
Yeah, absolutely. I claim no blame whatsoever for Ronha retiring. I definitely did not jinx it at all. But yeah, it's really just spiced up the championship battle because Ronha did have a very healthy lead, and basically Shadow's just been able to come in and just absolutely destroy it. A bit like we saw with actually Hamilton and Verstappen in real life. Slightly different circumstances without the crashing, but yeah, it's great to see, and I think we are shaped up now for basically a bit of back and forth for the rest of the season because they're both basically as quick as each other. So, if one of them come out on top today, there's no saying that next week it won't be the other one. And then we go on and on, hopefully, to the last race of the season where we will reach the absolute peak of the drama and hopefully have a great race as well. So, that's the plan. Will it go that way? The drivers obviously are hoping for the best result that they can get. Ronha will be wanting to expand his championship lead today because it was very much hurt in Silverstone, obviously. So yeah, but equally, Shadow with a win today takes the championship lead.
Well, I'm pretty certain Ronha knows all he needs to really do is just finish ahead of Shadow, and this title is his. But there's a few new names out there this week. There's a few drivers who have dropped out, gone into reserve. So it's a different kettle of fish for some of these drivers. You know, they're up against some of the world's best on Xbox, and that is, you know, that's not me being biased or anything to WOR. Some of these drivers are phenomenally quick, and they have got some incredible pace. And we've spoken about Shadow and Ronhart in depth. It's such a shame to have lost Sparks because he was incredible, but. You know, we still got Alfie here. Logic putting in a quick time there as well. So some of these drivers really are going to cause the big, you know, in-house names, I suppose you can call them, some troubles. And, you know, we haven't seen the best of Viper. And I think, you know, Square, we still got to see the best of Square. He's got some incredible pace when he wants to use it.
Yeah, absolutely. You know, I mean, we saw in Silverstone very clearly that we can have a 4 or 5 car battle for the lead, no problem whatsoever. And yeah, that's not a surprise. Like you say, these are the best drivers on Xbox, so most of them at least. It's going to be close racing, it's going to be dramatic racing, and so far pretty much every race has been, so let that continue. But yeah, you know, look, we've got some new names in here as well, like you say, and you know, all it takes is 1 week to just sort of chuck yourself in the high end of the points, get a good grid spot, then get a good start. And you are right in the mix. As long as you sort of get in the slipstream, the DRS, you can just be towed along by the top drivers. And, you know, if drama strikes, you're in for a great finish.
And drama does seem to happen here at WOR. That is the beautiful thing about this track. Well, this league. And mixed with this track, you know, you've got 20 corners here. You've got the famous Radion Eau Rouge into the Kemmel Straight, Pouhon, Blanchemont. You just... it rolls off the tongue the amount of like iconic names that comes from this circuit. And you know, it's not an easy track, especially that first sector. Very difficult to make sure you keep the car straight, and if there is a change in weather, which we don't know in the race yet, that could spice things up that little bit more.
Yeah, absolutely. I've got to say, Eau Rouge and Radion are not fun in the wet. The rear end does like stepping out quite a bit, especially if you go anywhere near those curbs. So, yeah, that's definitely one to watch out for. Hopefully, it will remain dry. We've had a fair bit of rain recently. We've had some good bits, bad spells of weather, I suppose, but makes good for drama. But yeah, I think it seems to be dry so far, and probably will be for the race. Let's see. I think so as well. It'd be good to have, because it just sort of spices up the strategy a little bit more. I'm fairly sure I say that every time, but you know, you do get to see the strategies play out to their fullest when you've got sort of full dry conditions throughout the race, and it does ensure a bit of dry. Like we said, we've got 10 minutes left in the session now. So Shadow, he's been doing really well so far this season qualifying, but so has Alfie. I've got to say, probably qualifying wise, he's been one of my sort of like standout stars, I guess, from it. He's just been putting in really good, consistent qualifying performances, but the race just never really falls his way. He has sort of picked up his pace, well, not picked up his pace, his luck has turned a little bit. He was able to pick up P3 2 weeks ago now in Silverstone, so nice. And yeah, I mean, hopefully for him, this will be the start of him. I think realistically, he's too far away to compete with the championship for how many races we have left. But he can definitely get into like the battle for, let's say, probably top 3 now. Now Sparks isn't here. He's only 21 points behind Jonas, who's currently P4. So, you know, he's definitely got a lot to play for this season. And if he can turn around his luck, then it's going to be pretty good for him. He's just got to try to basically build on the momentum that Silverstone has hopefully given him. And yeah, it'll be great to see, because he's a very, very quick driver. So yeah, let's fingers crossed for him.
Let us know, chat, who you think is going to claim pole here. Currently Shadow, probably the pole master here at WOR at the moment. He has been incredible, as Bradley's quite rightly just touched upon there. But yourself, who do you think is going to take pole? It's, you know, Alfie's not too far away from Shadow, really, considering he set that lap time earlier. And at the moment, Rafi Rees, if the track map is anything to go by, is looking phenomenally quick.
Yeah, absolutely. At the moment, yeah, he's doing very well, and yeah, I know he's another driver who's he hasn't had the best of it so far. I think definitely could have been doing a lot better than he has been for sure. He sort of tends to qualify quite well, and then maybe like misses a race, just can't really get momentum built too much. But yeah, going up into P4, getting good exit from the chicane, and yeah, he's done pretty well there. Also, I've just seen a chat. Apparently, I'm quite quiet. Is there where you could like turn me up on Discord or something? Is that possible?
that came through a little while ago, so I have upped
Okay,
the
so-
ante. If
so I
it needs
just read the
going
chat
any
for the
more,
first time.
please
Yeah,
let
that's
us know,
Yeah.
and I will do my best. Maybe if
So
not, we
that's
just have to shout more.
Yeah, well, hopefully it gives us a shout out. But yeah, that's the downside of getting a new mic. The audio levels have been completely destroyed. So we'll try to get that all sorted as best we can. Hopefully we have now. So yeah, looking back on the session, I don't know if anyone's on a particular. I think he's slightly improving at the moment. So I think he's not doing too bad for himself at the moment. He's doing okay. He's up into P7 for the moment. I don't know with Dark. Sometimes he puts in a really good performance, and then sometimes less. That is a really unique line, running up to Puon. I've never seen anyone go in the grass that much, but I assume that's one of those things where the game just randomly decides to actually give you grip on the grass, and if so, fair play. If that gains you time, but yeah, I've never seen that before. That's quite cool. Yeah, he's 3 tenths up, so yeah, evidently gaining some time. This could put him, I'd say, around Logic at the moment. If he can improve by a little bit in Sector 3. So let's see now, as he keeps going, go run up through Blanchimont. So we run up to the chicane as well now. Let's see, actually the chicane's pretty difficult here, because you have got to get the flow of the car absolutely perfect, because if you step out the rear too much on entry or exit, you do lose a good 2 or 3 tenths, and equally, if you're not aggressive enough, you can... Actually, yeah, you lost a lot of time there. I don't think that went... Oh, there we go. Lagging slightly. He has got up into P3. So 41.7, very good lap. Not taking the chicane slowly, which again could lose you a lot of time. And Shadow has disconnected as well, so we'll try to get him back in. But yeah, that's a really good lap. Putting himself up with his teammate.
Ron Hart has spun at campus, turn 14, live on stream. Maybe the pressure is getting to the Red Bull driver. Sorry to cut you off, but that is huge when it comes down to it, especially as he's not set a lap yet. So 6 minutes left of the session, and Ron Hart could very well be in trouble.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, the pressure of the special livery is getting to him in the Red Bull. It's a very, very good-looking car at the moment. Slightly sad we're going to lose the option to have this, because it does look good. But yeah, this puts a lot of pressure on for Ron Hart, because it's a long lap here. If he's, I highly doubt he's fueled for another run, because the amount of fuel extra that you have to... Yeah, he's coming back into the pits. The amount of fuel you have to carry extra just to do a lap here, because it is the longest circuit on the calendar. That means... If you're going to try to give it 2 flying laps, you have to carry a good, 10 kilos to properly do it, which is... On your first run, a good couple of tenths lost, and then on your second run, it's a long track, tyre wear's not minimal here. It's not massive, but it's not the smallest issue in the world. So I think this is very much a single run. All the drivers are geared for that. So it just basically means now he's got one last stab at it, and if he gets it wrong again, then this could make the race very interesting indeed, and would see his championship lead almost certainly disappear.
What bad luck for one can happen to the other, though, as well. Shadow's had a little bit of bad luck, but maybe not as catastrophic as Ron Hart last time out. Chile, though, on a lap, just about to finish his lap, and we've not seen the best from the Ferrari driver. He's 5 tenths off Shadow at the moment. I'm not sure if he's going to be able to just break into that next section just yet. I know he's probably got a little bit more under the hood for him, but at the moment, not going absolutely to the championship battle. But Alfie and Darkkiller then, I'm slightly surprised that both of them are that high up, fighting away with Shadow. But it could be because we haven't had the full Ron Hart out there yet, or there goes Chile across the Lacombe chicane, 7, 8 and 9 then, very much not wanting to do that part. Let's see what Square can do, because Square has yet to set a lap time as well. There's 3 drivers, Viper, Ron Hart and Square, all very quick in their own respects, yet to set a lap time. I know Square's invalidated a few, and that's the thing going down into the race is... Penalties are going to be huge. There's a lot of areas here where drivers might get themselves caught out.
Yeah, absolutely. I don't know if that was a graphical glitch, because I know that has been glitched before, but apparently Square has set purple sector 2, so this lap could really be something for the AlphaTauri driver. Let's see what he can do now as he runs up to the line. Square crosses the line, and he goes P2, and only just behind Shadow, and that is a brilliant lap for Square. We said, can he turn it on earlier on, and it appears that he can at the moment, and he's going to try to continue some fine form from Silverstone and try to pick up some points where it was all going so well until, of course, spin. After contact, but yeah, let's see if he can keep the race pace up with hopefully a better result this week.
Yeah, let's see what Square can do. Ronha is just about to start his, well, what I can only imagine is his final lap time. There's not long left of qualifying to go, and Ronha, he's putting a lot of pressure on his shoulders. The man possibly tipped to be the champion this season, early stages. He's definitely tipped more recently. And as he's warming up his tyres, coming into the chicane and through, and what can he do? Can he handle the pressure? I mean, before I ask the chat again, what their pole position they think is going to be. Do you think Ronha's got enough, Bradley, to take this?
It's that question in about a minute and a half. He should do, you know, like he's definitely capable of it. Whether or not he's going to be able to extract the lap time, he's had a good turn one, climbing up Eau Rouge, and Radion doing very well so far. Quite hard to get that wrong dry, I've got to say. Even the curbs can be quite nice on the car. So we'll have to see what his sector splits are like in about. I think the sector 2 split's going to be more important. He's gone purple sector 1, but honestly, the sector 2 split's going to be more important because this is where the nitty gritty of the track starts to take effect. How well your car handles through those corners. So yeah, look down the hill now. Careful not to lock up as well. And he's looking fairly confident at the moment.
Yeah, Ronha's got he's got to make sure Pouhon is a place where you can cause a lot of just going a little bit wide there, but he doesn't. He keeps it within the white lines. There is a Mercedes trying to get out of his way, but he tries to use a slipstream. He's using every tool in the box that he can as a little bit of an oversteer through into 14 there. So Campus a little bit too much, maybe pushing a little bit too much, but it's pretty much perfect through 16. And now into Blanchimont. What can he do? I mean, this early, it's looking like he's on a really solid lap. And Shadow, I don't think, is going back out.
Yeah, at the moment, it does look like, Shadow's definitely not going to get another lap in. So this is it for Ronha. If he can take P1, he will be on pole position for the race in Belgium today. Let's see. He's got a good exit from the chicane. He runs up to the line, and it's P3. He's lost a lot of time. I say that. He's only 300ths behind, but he must have lost quite a bit in the final sector. He's done a 28.2 compared to Shadow's 28.2 as well. So it must have been pretty marginal out there.
Yeah, it's so close between the three of them at the moment, all in the 41.5. Square's retired. He's not going any faster. Neither is Matthew Rees.
Alfie's up.
Ooh. Sorry, Brad.
No, sorry. Sorry, Alfie's up at the moment. Noise came through my headphones. Yes, Alfie's up at the moment. Oh, he's invalidated his lap, though, and that is it for Alfie. I think he's just going to finish a lap anyway, just to see what he could have done. But that is absolutely devastating for Alfie. He was doing so well there. And I think Raceway's done today. Dark's up slightly. He's up half a tenth going through Sector 2. So this could potentially see him go up ahead of Raceway, which would put him up into P5, just to see anyone else is split. Logic's up, but invalidated. I don't think anyone else is really improving at the moment. Chili, he's finished his last lap and he's P12, so expecting an alternate strategy from him today, I think. Or is he giving it another go, maybe? He might have backed off and he's giving it another go. Have to see in a moment. We'll see what his set splits are like. Yeah, he's slightly up, so Chili, we're going to get a final run in, definitely. Clenzo's lost it. Clenzo has binned it as well. He's, reversing into a wall.
Chili's lost it into the wall.
No, Chili as well. They've done the exact same thing there.
Dark Killer going across the line. Let's see what he can do as he pops it in his pole. Wow. Dark Killer out of nowhere. Literally, I'm happy that I've gone on board with him, but that is a little bit of a shock. I was not expecting Darks to go out there and grab pole by the scruff of the neck. We've still got a few drivers coming through. Got to go fast, and Wilson.
I got to go fast and invalidated, annoyingly. I think he's just invalidated.
Yeah, let's stay on board with Wilson then. The sister Red Bull. Can he displace anyone up above? Can he help Ronha? Teammates have got to work out here, and Ronha needs his teammate. like Shadow needed sparks early on, and across the line for Wilson, and it's not going to be quick enough. So I believe that is qualifying over and done with.
Connor as well. Connor crosses the line, and he does go up. Yeah, he's the last car, I think. Goes up into P14, getting past Got to Go Fast and Tribune as well. As well as White Choco. So, yeah, that's pretty dramatic, wasn't it? Dark on pole, that's the first this season.
Well, I was expecting it to be a quick time. I wasn't expecting it to be that quick, and he's put a bit of breathing room between him and Shadow. I know Shadow wasn't able to set another lap time. I think it was all down to having been kicked from the lobby for some reason for Shadow, but he's still there. He's still on the front row, which is going to be perfect for Shadow. But directly behind him is going to be Ronha. You know, I know Square is behind him on track, but you know, he's going to have that Red Bull staring down at him into La Source, and that's not a scary sight at all. It's what you want on Halloween, not now.
No, and I think we've seen before Red Bull's getting a little bit involved down into turn one, let's say, off the start. So yeah, I mean, Ronha's well within his rights if he wants to just send it down the inside, but he has to avoid a collision, of course, and keep it clean. So look how close that is. The top four separated by a tenth, and Alfie only just outside of that tenth himself. That's got to be the closest qualifying session with that many drivers that close this season, which is really saying something because we have seen some close sessions.
Yeah, so that is Darks on pole. You are reading it correctly, with Shadow in second place, Square in third, Ronha in fourth, Alfie in fifth place, with Raceway in sixth. Seventh going to Logic, eighth to Clenzo, ninth is Plakey there, and Matthew Reese is in 10th. Rounding out the top 10 there with they have to be on those tyres, so soft tyres. But in 11th is Luca, Chile in 12th. 13th is Wilson, Connor in 14th, Got to Go Fast in 15th. And to be honest, I was doing that all by memory and I can't remember the remainder. So apologies, guys. I believe it was Wilson in 16th, and then down in 20th is Viper. So not the best of qualifyings for him. I mean, yeah, chat, let us know who you think's going to take victory. But
Dave's from poor quality, actually. He's down P19. So, well, I say that he's only 8/10 off, but yeah, and then Viper P20. Yeah. So, yeah, obviously, as you were saying, chat, try to get some stuff, and we'll see who's going to do well today. It's really good to see Dark on pole, actually. It does make something a little bit different, because so far this season, we have been used to just really Sparks and Shadow mostly racing each other 1-2 for a lot of the race, and then Ronha coming in and just, overtaking, doing some really dramatic moves and some, quite frankly, brilliant stuff. So let's see if we can get a repeat of that today, because both the championship leaders have got some work to do. Yeah,
they both. You are incredibly correct, I think is the only way I can describe that. Let's have a quick look at tyres for the drivers then. Everyone outside the top 10, unsurprisingly, on the mediums, doing the alternate strategy. We haven't spoken about safety cars yet. That is a possibility here, especially if they get it all wrong at Eau Rouge and Radion. That is a big point. But we've also seen it out of turn 9. We've seen it twice now. People lose it out of turn 9 and then out of turn 15 as well. So it's not a given that they'll have a I don't want to say have a clean race, but have a set through race there. But it's great, like you say. Dark's going to get a complex out of this. It's great to see him on pole. How long can he keep it for? And is he like a dark horse into actually winning this race? Because that, we haven't spoken about that, and we've kind of written him off in a certain degree. But it's possible, isn't it?
No, it's very much potential. If he can put in a string of really good performances, there's no doubt that he can do really well. So, let's see if he can hold on to his lead for a long time, pick up a win today as well. That puts him in great stead to overtake quite a few drivers actually in the championship. He's what's been his finishes so far this season? He's on 0 points. He's raced 5 times and he's not got any points so far this season. So this could be a massive turnaround to the kickstart this year.
It will be what he needs if he wants anything to happen long term in the season, I suppose. If he wants to get himself into the championship fight, which about probably a little bit too
need a couple of retirements, yeah.
Yeah, a little bit too late for that. But even just to throw himself into the mix to fight with the leaders. I know I've seen him a few times saying, He's not quick. He's not deserving of being so high up. Whether that's mind games from the Alpine driver, we don't know. He's maybe not that kind of driver, but there is a disqualification for Raceway and Logic. They're going straight to the grid, but it's a little bit late for that, so no real tyre issue there. But who's going to win it then on this early?
You know what? I'm going to say a dramatic race. Square needs a good finish. I'm going to say Square. He deserved a really good finish in Silverstone. I'm predicting some fireworks. I'm going to go Square.
Now, I'm going to go completely out of the top 10 here. I think there's going to be some huge fireworks happening at the front, and I think it's going to be an alternate strategy that wins it. I'm going to back W. O'Connor to absolutely mess this grid up, and that is the nicest way I could put it. But let's wait for the lights here. 2 lights, 3 lights, 4 lights, 5 lights here at Spa-Francorchamps, and we're waiting to finally get underway, and it's go. Clenzo gets a drive-through penalty for jumping the start, and there it's Square already trying to get up the inside of Dark Killer, but it's not happening. Shadow's dropping down the order, and Alfie and Ronhar are battling away. But Alfie really wants to get past Ronhar. He's battling the championship leader. Shadow is dropping down the order because of everything that's going on, but there's 2 wide. That's Raceway and Logic through Eau Rouge and Radion, and they somehow made it through 2 wide. And look up ahead, Square is going again with Ronhard trying to find which one who will go through, but neither of them give a position, give an inch. And what's happening a bit further down, because I'm sure there's plenty of overtaking opportunities throughout.
Luca and Connor going side by side. Luca nearly forcing Connor into the gravel as well. Bit of a lock-up. Oh, this is very tight racing. And he's out trying to sneak up the inside. Clenzo, he definitely thought about it. Now he's going to go try round the outside of Connor. He can't quite make that work. He's giving it his absolute best shot, though. I think there was quite a bit of wheel banging going on there. And actually up his inside now is White Choco going for it as well. That's a good... Oh, it's Wilson actually giving it a go. Wilson. Sorry, 2 white cars. Wilson not quite able to get the move done down the inside on Clenzo. It's not quite there this time out, but Square, he's had a great start. He's just got to look forward now to Dark. He's going to start getting the slipstream, obviously. That's very strong in itself, but from not next up, but lap 3 after the next lap we're coming up to, he's actually really need DRS to do it. He's got a massive overspeed on Dark already without even using ERS. This is absolutely brilliant. I thought he was going to try round the outside then, but he does think better of it. But down his inside, thinking of having a go, is Ronhard. Does he have the grip round the outside, coming out the chicane? No, not quite. And Square keeps the position for now.
He covers off Ronhard quite aggressively there, nearly giving Alfie a chance up the inside, but I think he knows what he's doing. But look at Alfie. He's going back at Ronhard. These top 4 are going all at it. Surely Ronhard's lost the position because of all this. He's now down to 4th place. This is where he started, and Alfie up too. And I wonder what Alfie can do with the drivers ahead. And with all this, Logic is just sitting in the background, keeping tabs on how all this is going to go. Ronhard having a look up the inside, trying not to get the dirty air, I think. And yeah, it's a little bit calmer now than it was a lap ago.
Yeah, just a little bit. Drivers starting to settle into their positions, not going for quite as an ambitious move as you may at the start. We actually have a yellow flag out on track. I'm not quite sure who that's for. Probably near the Dazed Rhombus. I think he spun coming out turn 1 on those hard, cold tyres. Actually, been just coming out the pit lane. Oh, yeah. Oh. That's cool. Okay. So yeah, as you keep going, now you can please take over.
Sorry. Yeah. So Ronhar is now still trying to get back into the swing of things, but I think there's a little bit of a breakaway between Logic and Raceway. They just keep on just moving that inch further away. A little break is forming, and Raceway is actually pulling away from Matthew Rees as well. And if you have a look at the Shadow, taking Shadow out of the equation, down 10 places, you look at Clenzo down 11. But there's some really good drivers popping up a few positions. Connor, the man I backed, is now up 5 places into 5th place. And if we have a look at the tyres, he's just up behind Luca. Those 2 in a really, really good position. Rhombus with the hard compound tyre early on, so he must have picked up damage or something there. But DRS now enabled, and it's going into a big, big train up into Eau Rouge, Radion, and then obviously the DRS into the Camel Straight. Who's going to make the first move? Is Square going to be able to get enough alongside? And it looks like it's going to be incredible action. Maybe 3 wide down the. As he's going to get past Killer Dark in incredibly easy fashion. And I wonder if the other Alpine's going to have a look as well. No, they think better off it. And yeah, incredible stuff.
Yeah, I think Alfie was hoping for a couple extra meters there to just get alongside Dark. But now, you have to bear in mind, next time round, it's Dark that has the slipstream and DRS. And I think we could be in for quite a bit of this today. The back and forth between the leading pack as we have the slipstream, the DRS. Obviously, it's just so powerful down the Kemmel Straight. And got to go fast. It's gone wrong for him. He's round on those medium tyres. And it was shaping up to be a pretty good result as long as he can make that alternate strategy work. But now falling right to the back of the medium runners. So that's not gone well at all, I think it's fair to say, for the Aston Martin driver. Actually, for neither of them so far today.
We got maybe a little bit of trouble for Dark. Square is pulling away, unlike what Dark was able to do. It's 7/10 of a second, and if he can keep this up, he might be able to get away before the Kemmel Straight, and that's where he needs it. And look at that 8/10 coming into the chicane, the old bus stop chicane. This is crucial time, and Alfie, Ronha are looking at Square pull away, and this is crucial, and Square gets the fastest lap of the race.
Yeah, at the moment my predictions are looking alright, but we've still got a very, very long way to go in this race. And of course, as we say, those alternate strategy runners, they are going to come into their own at the end of this race. So definitely stick with us. This is going to be a very good end as well. But I think we're going to get quite a lot of action in the middle. So as we keep going now, Dark is not going to be close enough to Square. That's just a fact. He's 7/10 behind. It's not going to happen. But Alfie isn't close enough either because Dark equally has DRS. And at the moment, I think until Square can break that DRS, which I'd say is looking fairly likely in the next lap or two, unless Dark can really pick it up. Maybe he made a little bit of a mistake before, lost a couple of attempts. So, you know, we've got to see if he can keep up at that sort of pace, Square, compared to Dark. And if he can break DRS, then it's just going to allow Alfie, Ronha, Logic to come through. And Raceway is actually sticking with him quite well. Matthew Rees just behind him. So they are starting to come under pressure, though, from the likes of Luca. Not quite Connor. He's about a second and a half back. So, you know, not too far at all. But Luca, at the moment, looking to be the main threat to the soft runners. But I say give it a couple more laps. And this top 8, 9, 10 is going to look quite a bit different.
But crucially, Luca is on the medium compound tyres, and he's keeping with this lot. And actually, if anything, he's probably got a little bit extra pace over Matthew Rees, which is going to be interesting to see over the next few laps, definitely. And these softs are, well, soon to be binned off, I believe, from memory of how well the tyres last here at Belgium. But these guys have got a lot of work still to do.
Yeah, absolutely. In a couple of laps' time, they will be coming into the pits. So yeah, it's going to be interesting because, I mean, it's not really... I mean, actually, no, to be fair, the undercut opportunity here is very strong. But most drivers do end up pitting on the same lap because it's such a long lap, you get so much wear in one lap. It's not really an option to go a lap longer. So yeah, we're going to see a lot of drivers pitting roughly the same lap. But look at the speed Alfie has. Alfie's a lot closer to Dark this time. He's got slipstream, he's got DRS, but he's choosing not to use the DRS. Dark, however, right on the back of Square. He's not able to get a move done. He was just about close enough to push Square's gearbox through the corners, but not quite close enough to dive down the inside.
And we have seen Chile overtake Connor as well, so still overtaking opportunities happening throughout. And the thing Dark Killer and Alfie have got to worry about, they're the only ones in the top part that will require maybe a little bit of teamwork that's Luca gone through turn 11 there. But yeah, they've got to think about pit stop strategy. We've spoken about that. Everyone will pit around the same time because of the tyre degradation. Are these guys going to have to struggle? Is this why Alfie's fighting so valiantly to get track position so he can get that first pit stop?
Seems to be at the moment, Alfie, yeah, that's the thing. It's the double stack. Oh, Chile's lost it as well. Chile's lost it. Ow.
Oh, big lost it as well.
Ow.
That is.
Yeah, no, he lit up the rears after he spun it, and I think he got a little bit frustrated there. Oh wow, yeah, that's massive disaster. What is going on with these medium tyres? You'd expect it to be the other way round at the moment. And all of a sudden, Connor back to the lead of the medium runners, but he has got Wilson in the Red Bull right behind him. So it's Wilson all of a sudden. What there is
Safety
Chili's
car
doing on the grid?
What?
Chili's
Yeah,
car is straight.
I'd noticed that, and that is possibly one
that
of the
is
weirdest
odd.
things.
Yeah.
Is it gone now? It is gone now, so that's all that matters. So a lot of these drivers are going to have a free pit stop here. You know, you're looking at Choco, Luca, Plenzo, got to go fast, who are pitting, are going to go onto a set of hards, and they won't need a pit again. That's it. That's them done.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, we could be in for a really, really weird finish. We've had a surprise winner before, Bartak taking victory in the McLaren. So could we be in for it again? Chat, let us know. Such a shame for Chile. You know, I backed him in qualifying, saying, you know, we are expecting to see a little bit more, but maybe that extra pressure that people, you know, I mean, but it was both Ferraris on one lap. That's the
That's the weird thing.
Yeah, within seconds of each other. Such a shame.
Yeah, both of them looking to have a really strong performance as well. That's the thing. They were both, you know, potentially podium sitters at the end of this race. So, yeah, it's really weird to see. I mean, obviously, it's just, you know, a case of just putting a little bit too much force on the throttle and just making a bit of a mistake, clipping the curb slightly wrong, tyre temperatures maybe not high enough, too high. It's really, it's such fine margins, and it's just gone oh so wrong, oh so quickly for both of the Ferraris, and yeah, they'll not be too happy about that one. But I'm sure Ferrari fans are used to some things like that by now. So, yeah, that's really devastating, especially for Chile, because I think he was on for a really good performance. But all the soft runners are going to be coming into the pits now, and I imagine all of the medium runners. I was right. Ooh. Wilson deciding against it. Wilson actually was coming into the pit lane there and decided to change last second, meaning Agonized is now the race leader because Agonized just carried on like normal and has basically just overtaken him.
That is crazy stuff. And Square then is going to be third on the grid with Killer there. Shadow's not back into the race by the looks of things.
Yeah, I did send him an invite, so I'll give him another one.
Yeah, so not what you would have wanted with that. But so Ronha is, you know, actually gained a position. Alfie massively hurt with all that, down into 10th place, being jumped by a few drivers. Viper's gone onto a set of softs. He's doing something different, maybe some issues throughout, but let's see, Logic there, no real massive changes other than Agonize and Wilson. Maybe they're hoping for another safety car. That's the other thing. If another safety car comes out, they're kind of quids in.
Yeah, at the moment they're looking like they're going to be in a great position. So yeah, it's been interesting. I want to see what Viper's going to be able to do on those soft tyres. He's obviously not going to the end. That's just not going to happen. So that'd be a fun one to watch. Well, should we get restarted about lap 8, lap 9? It'll be either of those two. I think it should be lap 8. Then we get going. It's a very long lap here under safety car, so we could Ronha. Let's see. Look, Ronha and Shadow even going at it when only one of them's in the lobby. Ronha very desperate, I think, to get past that AI as quickly as he can, so he can put some pressure on Dark and try to cement a really good finishing position. And it's going to be a hard-fought one as well, because, you know, none of the drivers ahead, I'd say Ronha has got an easy, clear pace advantage on, so he's really got to work for this.
Yeah, Square's got some incredible pace, and if he can dispatch the two WR guys at the top of the grid early doors, he could be in for a great chance. You know, keep Dark Killer away. I think he had the overall pace advantage over Dark, which means Ronha, while he still might extend his lead at the top of the championship, it's not going to be as much as he wants because he's got so many drivers to dispatch. And, you know, he could still end up with a podium, but problems could still ignite for him. And he needs as many points as possible.
Yeah, absolutely. This is a case of trying to prioritise it. Ronha has got to try to rebuild his championship lead now. Just capitalise on everything that's going on for Shadow. It's so unlucky. it's something I'm sure a lot of people have experienced in F1 games, is just disconnecting halfway through qualifying, just before the race starts. You can't get back in, you can't change your setup, you can't change your strategy. It's a real pain, and it's not good to see, because of course it does sort of ruin what could be a very close title challenge. And if this gives Ron Har a big championship lead, if he can get sort of a top 2 or win today, it's going to be hard to come back from that. You're going to need Ron Har to have another retirement or a very low scoring race, or win about 5 races on the bounce. And I mean, from what we've seen this season, Shadow's very quick, but with the other talent on this grid, it's not as easy as that.
No, especially with like a resurgence from Dark Killer, Square as well, just to throw some names out there. And, I'll give some credit to the guys. Only Colenso so far as a time penalty.
Yeah, exactly.
These, I was expecting a little bit more at Belgium, but they're proving to be all good at the moment.
We'd say at the moment. We'll see come the end of the race how well that pans out. But yeah, no, for now, we've had minimal contact and actually some really good racing. So, obviously the 2 weeks away hasn't hindered the driver's racecraft too much. And yeah, hopefully the rest of this race goes a little bit more smoothly without retirement. But again, it's so unfortunate for the likes of Chile and Luca. I mean, obviously it was driver error, so on that sense it's not. But it's just really bad to see, because they would have been right up there fighting today. And Ron Har, he's getting a little bit aggressive with this AI. And I have seen overtakes on the AI under safety car go quite wrong in the past. Because sometimes the AI doesn't quite understand what's happening and then slows down, and you end up getting overtaken by 3, 4, 5 cars as confirmation of safety cars in this lap.
Let's go on board with Square then. He's going to be the one to try and pounce. And if you're agonised, what do you do? How do you set this? Do you go early? Do you go late? Do you go really late while on the start-finish straight? Or do you, there's so many different options given to you as the safety car when you take over the safety car, the lead car, I should say, sorry. And there's, with the safety car coming in, let's go on board with just see agonised ahead. And has he gone? I don't know. It's the problem with this part of the chicane. You can never tell.
No, he hasn't. Not.
But Wilson and Square are, battling away, and Dark Killer's trying to get the most out of this as well. He might try and make a move up the inside. Ron Har is through Shadow and up into 5th place. He's doing everything he needs to do, and I think Square is going to pick off Wilson really quickly. Agonised has had an absolute beauty of a start as he's pulling away from Wilson, and that's exactly what he needs to do if he wants to keep the lead of this race for a little bit longer.
Yeah, absolutely. For the moment, Agonised, I think he had pretty much the perfect restart there, because I don't think that Wilson actually knew, much like us, whether he had restarted or there's Square. That should be a really simple move. Yeah, Wilson actually just backs out and lets Square and Dark through. Wilson's clever there. He knows there's no point fighting that. He's got to make a pit stop. They're on fresher, medium tyres. They are going to sail past. So yeah, that was quite a clever move. Shadow's AI, of course, getting overtaken there by Raceway as well, and Matthew Rees will phase through in just a moment's time. But yeah, Alfie's lost out a fair bit. He's obviously, we said how important that was with the double stack. He's now down in P10, so he's very much lost out. Those extra 4 or 5 seconds costing him very dearly, as you would expect. But he's going to try to work his way through it. Ron Har and Wilson going side by side. Ron Har round the outside, able to pull off the move. He gets to the inside line through the next corner, and he moves himself up into P4 as well.
Square probably would have wanted Ron Har to be held up a little bit longer. Wilson didn't make it easy for his teammate, though, as Logic now trying to make his way through as well. Still kind of a silent assassin, I think, in all this. We've barely spoken about him, but he's still with the lead pack. If he can get through Wilson pretty quickly, he's still within a shot of a podium and maybe even a win on the luck. And up the inside, there's a little bit of contact between the two of them through the chicane, and Wilson's going to push him out wide, and Logic is going to battle it through and get the position finally done and dusted. But, or maybe not. Wilson is still fighting it. Goes deep a little bit. Wilson with the switchback, and he's back through on the Alfa Romeo, and he's giving his teammate a little bit of breathing room from the car behind.
Yeah, very well done at the moment. That was very erratic watching Logic's on board. It did not look like a stable car at all, but Logic, he's going to get the run down the Kemmel straight now. He's not even going to need Slipstream. Now, obviously, DRS is not activated, but he's using all his ERS. He's having to drain his battery to get past that Red Bull. And now it is Ron Har ahead. He's just outside DRS range at the moment, so the rest of his lap's got to be pretty good. But Ron Har has got Dark ahead of him and Square, and they're all closing in on Agonize now. And I think Agonize's pace might be a saving grace as Dazed Rhombus is out the race. A saving grace for Logic.
Another safety car.
Another safety car. Right. I don't think it's to do much with strategy. The medium runners are just going to stay where they are. You're going to see Wilson come into the pits and probably Agonized as well. Not sure what tyre they'll go on to with 12 laps left. That's very much medium territory. But obviously they can't do that.
Yeah, that's Tribion's left the session. That's not good for him, unfortunately. But yeah, I mean, going on to hards now would be a little bit counterproductive, but staying on the mediums is counterproductive, and going on the softs is counterproductive. So they're in between a rock and a hard place.
Yeah. At the moment it's not looking too bright for their. You know, the first safety car gave them a bit of a helping hand in a way. You know, it allows them to come back up, lose the gap that they would have had, but. At the end of the day, it gave Square, Dark, and all the soft runners a free pit stop right up to the back of them, and then the second safety car's not left them with many great options, so let's see what they do. Agonize does come in the pits, so I'll be interested to see what tyre he does opt for. Obviously, even being on the hard tyres, you're going to lose less time than if you just don't pit and then do a full-length pit stop without the safety car later on in the race.
I wonder if they'll try a different move, go on to a set of mediums. They are going, I think they're both going on to hards.
No, Wilson's softs.
Oh, interesting. Maybe
Well,
take it to the end.
I mean, yeah, you know, it is. It's going to be like 10 laps when we get going. So, give it a go, son. I like to see it. Yeah, it'll be quite fun. And yeah, Viper as well going for the soft. So it's obviously they're thinking it's a viable strategy. And they're going to probably blaze past Agonized at the start. Whether by the end of the race they've still got 4 wheels on that wagon is going to be another question. Territory there.
Yes, yeah. I mean, Viper's now on his 3rd pit stop. So I don't know what's going on in that McLaren. He's just given himself plenty of options, but also plenty of tyre wear that he probably wouldn't want. But I was wondering if they would put on a set of mediums again and then try and see if they would play the strategy card of hoping for another safety car. We've had 2 in quick concessions. You know, maybe have that fresh medium straight on, and then a safety car come through. You know, maybe lap 17 or 16 or something, and then throw on a set of softs then when everyone else will be as well. But their mediums would be that just a little bit fresher, maybe be able to attack a few people, but. Yeah, it's not worked that way. No one's tried to be a little bit daring. I think that's what maybe Agonize could have done, because you know, being on those hards right at 14th place, you know, he needs something to spice up his race.
Yeah, absolutely. I feel for him because he's, you know, real great up and coming young driver. We're going to see a lot of him in the coming years. In esports, definitely, or in league racing at least. Esports, you know, maybe optimistic, but you never know, do you? If your pace can keep going at the rate he has, I've worked with him in the past as well in teams, so you know, I know he's really genuinely dedicated to this game, puts in a lot of effort, and it's sad to see. Sad to see it go so wrong because he benefited from Wilson being a bit indecisive in the pits. He got himself in the lead. It's all looking pretty good, but yeah, at the moment, I mean, he's not going to improve much on his position. You have to bear in mind, everyone ahead, it may look like they're on worn medium tyres, but for most of these guys, these are relatively fresh. They've only done laps on the safety car, really. Oh, yeah, okay. I was curious to see if Agonize would do this. The people who are on the hards now coming back in for the softs, but I don't know whether Agonize has just seen that Wilson and Viper are trying it and gone, oh yeah, like, you know, obviously I'm not going to overtake many drivers on the hard. Let's just give it a go. And yeah, it looks like Tribion's AI, isn't he? I think. Or is he rejoined?
Yeah, Tribion's AI has gone into the pits for medium, unless he's got back in. Let's have a look.
Yeah.
It looks like he's back in. Actually, the car is pretty solid on my screen. So
yeah, he's driving that. Yeah.
So safety car in this lap should be, from our recollection from the last safety car. it's still anyone's game. Square's got that advantage. Ronha, I think, is going to try and get Darks as quickly as possible. That's his aim. Obviously, that's anyone's aim, is to get in front of the person in front. But you know, he's going to do it. I don't want to say aggressively, but he's got to think about getting his elbows out and getting the move done quickly, so he can concentrate on Square.
Yeah, that leads on to what we were saying earlier. You know, he has to capitalise on this. If he comes third today, he gets a 15-point advantage on Shadow, which is great. You know, it's nice. You've got a 19-point lead now, which can be eroded completely in one race, and you can be second again. But if he wins today, he's going to be on a 29-point advantage, which I don't think it's going to take much of a mass whiz to realise that that's a little bit better, because it means he can afford a DNF. And then he's just got to perform Shadow in the rest of the races this season, and he's still won the championship no matter what. So yeah, it's a really, really vital 10 points he's playing for here, and I think he is going to give it his all, because he is a very experienced driver. He's going to do it cleanly. He's going to do it intelligently. Question is, will he do it?
Yeah, that's a huge question on everyone's lips as we wait for the drivers to come in. And obviously, with such an incredible night last night at PC, on George's and Ginger Andy's point of view, we're just about to have maybe an incredible end to this Spa Grand Prix, and hoping to maybe eclipse it in a sense. If you are enjoying it, don't forget to give us a sub in the YouTube style, and for all the action for all our top tier races here at WOR. But we're waiting for Square. When will he go? He's gone now. He's gone a little bit too early, in my opinion. Not really catching Dark Killer or Ronha off guard, and everyone else is just following suit. Square has got to, well, really find some pace out of somewhere, or otherwise he's going to be in big trouble. And some of the drivers still behind are still weaving to get a bit of tyre temp, as there's Choco going up the inside of Plakey as well. And yeah, incredible stuff throughout, as Luca still struggling to get past, got to go fast. And a lot of these drivers, it could have been a massive what could have been moment. But here comes Ronha all over the back of Darklids. Is there going to be enough straight for him to make a move? There is not. And Square is slowly just pulling away from this battle. And Ronha has to make that move. And maybe it's going to have to be somewhere that's a little bit unusual.
Yeah, basically, if Square can't break DRS and just toes Dark Killer along. In fact, that might be the smarter option for Square here. You know, it may sound a little bit wrong in theory, but in practice, if you can keep Dark within DRS and Slipstream, but you know he's not going to overtake you, he's not quite quick enough to overtake you. But that also means, with the Slipstream and DRS that Dark's getting, Ronha can't do it either. Ronha hasn't got clean air. He can't just drive ahead through the corners. He is literally limited by whatever Dark does. So as long as Dark has Slipstream, as long as Dark has DRS, it's going to be really challenging for Ronha to get past. And I think that's the best way that Square has of winning this race. Or, alternatively, if Square could just pull away a really big gap and just hope that Ronha can't close it in.
It's already over a second between Dark and Square, so that is big in itself. And Ronha getting very close to the back end of that Alpine. And I know Dark is going to be giving everything he can just to maybe get back into it, but I don't think it's possible. Here, surely up the inside. Surely not. Ronha's made the attempt, and he's going to clip out a little bit wide on Dark, and that's going to leave Dark very much in a little bit of a battle with Luca behind. But actually, he's managed to keep the pace, and maybe will he attack Ronha back down the Kemmel Straight? Is he going to have enough pace? Is he going to have enough road?
We'll have to see. I don't think he is. He hasn't got DRS though. That's a pivotal thing. If he had DRS, I think he'd have had a decent chance of making it work, but just not quite. He hasn't got a lot of DRS to play with either. He's only around 50%, and obviously you don't want to use more of that up against Ronha, because at the end of the day, Ronha is absolutely rapid. He is probably going to overtake you no matter what. And I think at this point, Dark, you know, a podium is a great finish. If he can keep Logic and Raceway behind him, then, you know, P3, absolutely brilliant.
And we've barely spoken about him since his double stack, but look at Alfie in P6, all over the back of WR Raceway. is going to try, surely not make a move into turn 13 there, but he's still within a shot here. He's doing incredibly quick and possibly the quicker of the two Alpine drivers.
Yeah, potentially. It did seem that way when they were running at the start of the race before the safety car, obviously putting an end to that battle and forcing the first round of the pit stops, which inevitably meant that Alfie lost out on a ton of places, finding himself even outside the top 10. So yeah, he's had a great recovery drive for the most part. Obviously, drivers ahead of him have pitted, so it's helped a little bit. But he's going to do really well here, I think, and he can see his Alpine teammate just up the road, and I think that'll probably be his goal after failing at the start of the race to get past.
I think that's Choco gone. And now in P17, he's had an absolute mare down there as Viper goes fastest as he attacks Plakey now. And yeah, into the pits for Choco. Not the best of races for him, unfortunately. I think Darkkill is not going to have any sort of attack on Ronhar. It's 1.4 seconds between the two. Square's got that DRS buffer as can Alfie make a move on Raceway, but Raceway's DRS is open because of Logic, so this is going to be the same conundrum that these guys had at the early stages of the race.
Yeah, it is at the moment. The DRS train at Spa. It's a very long and powerful one, and I mean, Square so far being one of the few drivers who's actually been able to break it. Viper's putting in the work. He's going to try to close in on Clenzo on those soft tyres. He's the leading soft runner. He could maybe, with some good form, get himself up into P7 in this race. I think maybe the likes of Alfie, Raceway, Logic, the sort of main battle, maybe a little bit too far away. And Agonize as well. He's putting Placky under a bit of pressure. So that'll be an interesting battle, I think, between all of the soft runners come the end of the race. And see how many of those tyres hold on.
Yeah, that's the crucial thing about these softs, is if they will last the race distance. Maybe everyone is hoping for another safety car. I said if there was going to be one, it'd be about 16, 17. At the moment, everyone's keeping it on track, and that's exactly what they need to do. Ronhar's managed to eke out that time to just 1.3 now, so a tenth is saved on his attack to Square, but Darkkiller, Logic and Raceway and Alfie are still there, and we're glued to Alfie as he's battling Raceway and trying to find any way past this Williams, and unfortunately I think the DRS is going to be the end of him, but surely not up the inside into turn one. Lasource, will he have a go? The Alpine darts up the inside and he overtakes the Williams with relative ease there, and now he's got to look at Logic and can he get up and battle it all the way through. He's been one of the drivers that has been able to make overtakes in this DRS train, is Alfie.
Yeah, he's done absolutely great so far this race, really just ploughing in the times and trying to get those moves done. Very ambitious move down the inside, made it work. Raceway attempted to cut back but couldn't quite do it. I was about to say before, Clenzo was pushing Matthew Rees through the chicane. He's now finally got the better of his Mercedes teammate, as now Viper, the leader of the softs, approaches the medium runners. And Matthew Rees, he's got no rear grip at all, just getting oversteer on the exit. And I think he might be struggling quite a bit on those tyres.
Yeah, that back end was very tail happy, and Viper's going to be looking at that and licking his lips because he's just one extra bit of tyre on that curb away from spinning out and crashing, unfortunately, for Matthew Rees. But he's got maybe a better tyre to be on for the overall part of this race. Let's hope Matthew Rees can keep it all going. But let's keep on board for the time being with this little battle for P8. As Clenzo is pulling away and trying to get back into the battle for the lead, because that essentially is what it is. From P1 to 6 is the battle for the lead.
Yeah, it is at the moment, and realistically, anyone but Raceway, only because of the penalty, which actually Square has as well, which I completely glossed over. So Square, yeah, he's got to put in some real work now. Ronhar is net race leader, but he's got Dark, who's just fallen outside of DRS range. However, he does keep it because he was just there through the activation point. And yeah, he will get it again going up, well, not going up over Rouge and Radion, but on the Kemmel straight he will. So, but yeah, no, he's going to get a lot less slipstream. I think this could be it for Logic. I think Logic could move himself up into P3 here, because Dark is not going to have that slipstream. Oh my god, it looks like Logic has so much more grip as they climb the hill. And it's such a simple move in the end. Logic using his DRS well. Dark did end up with DRS, but it is just simply not enough to keep that Alfa Romeo behind, as Logic moves himself up into P3, and now Alfie has his sights set on his teammate.
Yeah, I wonder if there is going to be... I mean, it's not a race away to let your teammate through, but Alfie's clearly got some overall pace advantage, and Dark is struggling on these mediums. So, it might be wise for Dark just to let Alfie go, have an attack, and then try and follow him back through Logic. Because now this is definitely turning into a battle for the final podium spot. But with Logic on a 3-second time penalty, maybe he just needs to get through and then back up into Ronhar. Because this is exactly what Ronhar wants. Because he's got 2 drivers next to him, on above and behind, who are on penalties.
Yeah, absolutely. Ronhar himself is actually on 2 warnings, and Dark's only on 1, so Dark's in a pretty good place. But here we go, Alfie. Is he going to try to make the move on Dark? This is really opportunistic stuff, and he does get the move done round the outside. He should have the advantage under braking, and he does coming into the chicane. That was an absolutely brilliant move round the outside of Blanchimont from Alfie. Very well done.
Incredible by Alfie. As you say, opportunist move, as there's no ERS for Dark Killer to use by the looks of things. He is completely out. He's battled his way to no ERS, and with 5 laps remaining, or 4.5 if you want to be pernickety, there's a lot less for him, a lot more time for him to be just under constant pressure, and with Raceway battling his way still into it, he could be under more pressure still. Let's go and see Alfie as he's trying now to get at Logic. Alfie's got a real big chance here. He's shown some incredible pace, maybe the quickest man on the track. And I feel so sorry for Dark, but it's just not going his way.
Oh, and White Truck's out the race as well. No, he did in the pit lane, so we're not going to see a safety car, thankfully, and we're quite late in the race anyway. It would have been a 1-lap sprint at the end, which would have been a little bit exciting. But I think we'd all rather see how this race pans out in itself, because like you say, Alfie has put in a brilliant shift today. It makes you think what could have been if just maybe the safety car came out a lap later. He was able to get past his teammate. He wasn't held up in the pit box, and he didn't lose many places. So this is going to be frustrating for Alfie, and, you have to remember a couple extra seconds lost through, for some reason, the random pause in the pit box just makes it hurt just a little bit more as well. But Alfie, he's put in the work, and he is absolutely reaping the benefits so far. He can see Ronhar ahead of him, and there's definitely enough laps for it. If he can get past Logic, which he very much should this lap, he's within half a second already. He's going to have DRS down the Kemmel Straight. He has the advantage by about 10% or so on ERS on Logic as well. This should be a nice one for Alfie, which gives him about 3 laps to just chase down that Red Bull ahead.
Ronhar definitely has realised the pace Alfie's got, because he's suddenly turned the screw on square and he's really battling it through. But look at Alfie, the overspeed he's got on the Alfa Romeo, and Alfie's through way before the turn number 7 there. And Alfie's a man on a mission. He's 1.8 seconds behind Ronhar, and Ronhar now is really starting to push on square. He realises Alfie is not to be messed with, and maybe he's desperate for that race win. Maybe he has to make that move on square to put a car between him and Alfie.
Yeah, I think potentially Ronhar would have been looking at the situation, seen Alfie, all of a sudden, as far as he's aware, Alfie was down in like P8. All of a sudden he can see that Alpine in his mirrors down the straight. So, definitely I think Ronhar's just sort of thinking what was before a pretty straightforward stroll to victory. He might need to get past Square here, because, look, Square's been absolutely rapid this race as well and deserves to do really well. But that penalty is what's holding him back at the moment. Got to go fast, picking up a penalty as well. So that's not going to affect his finishing position, because Tribbian as well behind has a penalty. But it is hampering his attack on Placky, definitely. But yeah, for Alfie, look, he's closing 3/10 in the course of this lap. So this could be interesting. We'll see if by the end of the race he can get within DRS.
Yeah, this is... Alfie's just agonisingly getting to it, but Logic is now only 0.5 of a second behind Alfie, so he could be the one to cause some problems for the Alpine driver. Alfie's got a lot of work to do, and with not much ERS, and Logic has more ERS.
Yeah, Alfie... quite intelligently, he was using his ERS as he was exiting the first corner and also climbing up the hill, because he knows it's so important to get that early advantage down the straight, just to increase that gap a little bit, because they will have the overspeed behind you, so just try to capitalise as much as you can before that point. And Alfie, he does hold on, but it's going to make overtaking later on in the race if he can close into Ron Har, which is now 2 seconds behind, because I think he had to think about defending and using EOS where he didn't really want to. And yeah, I think Alfie might begin to struggle now unless Ron Har really does start to do battle with Square.
Let's see how it all pans out. I think Alfie is on course for a second place position if he just handles this pressure well. He's eking the time back to Ronhar. I think this is where he's been quickest, is Alfie is through this middle sector. And Logic has got to be careful because it's now down to 7/10 of a second. Raceway got past Darks as well. So that is in, one that we've missed because of this battling at the lead. And yeah, Viper is coming through. There's Cleanso as well. So, these drivers, you said Viper might be lucky for 6th, 7th place. And at the moment, if things go his way, he could even be 5th place with the penalties to Logic and Raceway. So we'll have to wait for all that to pan out.
Yeah, that could be really interesting. If he can overtake Dark, he could be in a position to pick up P4. And I don't think we were expecting that a little bit earlier on. So, massive fair play to him using that grip to his advantage. I don't know, on 9-lap-old soft, he's got 2 laps to go. He's going to be on high wear, but he doesn't look like he's struggling too much, does he, at the moment? He's definitely got the grip, and he's quite close to the back of Dark as well, within half a second. He was closer to Dark than Dark is to Raceway, let's put it that way. So Dark might be looking in his mirrors yet again.
Here comes Ronhar. Sorry, look at this. The pace advantage that Ronhar's got. He's going to take the lead of the race on track. Ronhar leads the Spa Grand Prix here at WOR. He's made the move on Square. Square is out of ERS. And now Ronhar can think about just pulling away and, sailing off into the distance. This is what he wanted. He wanted the 25 points, and at the moment he's going to get it.
Yeah, this is been almost faultless from Ronhar. He's done such a good job today. And I think he sort of sat back where needed when racing Square. Realises maybe a little bit of pressure coming from Alfie, and he sorted that issue out very well. We gapped Alfie and has now got into the lead of the race anyway. He was already in the net race lead, but now he is on track leading it. That's a move he didn't need to make, but he's decided as well just to try to put a little bit of a gap between himself and Alfie, because he's almost in a position where, let's say Ronhar coming through the chicane or on the next lap at any point. Oh, Connor's out the race as well. That's a shame, but yeah, if Ronhar picks up another warning, he'll get a 3-second penalty himself. So as long as he has a 3-second gap to Alfie, he is absolutely safe. And I think by the end of this race, that's looking very much possible. But I think Viper's going to be the main course of action in the last lap of this race, because he has got Dark ahead of him. He still looks like he's got a little bit more grip. He's got actually a little bit less ERS than the Alpine ahead, but only by a matter of about 5%. So this really could go either way, and I think it is going to rely on a bit of a mistake from Dark or Raceway ahead for him to gain too many places here.
It's a one to watch nonetheless, and I wonder if Logic actually is going to make an attack on Alfie. This could cause problems for Alfie's second place, as look at it comes, Logic up the inside, easy as you like really when you look at it, and that is Alfie down to 4th place on track, and Raceway is passed by Dark Killer. So Dark Killer is now just finding that little bit of extra pace to get him through to the end of the Grand Prix and not be attacked by Viper come, maybe Blanchimont and into the chicane, which is where we've seen Dark Killer really struggle. Alfie picks up a 3-second time penalty. So that is huge and could enable Dark Killer to claim a podium position.
Yeah, just about. I think it's going to be difficult. I think more likely it's going to be P4 for Dark, barring any mistakes. But yeah, we'll have to see how that runs. Actually, it might be quite difficult for Dark to actually even stay within. Oh, Dark got past Raceway, actually, for what it's worth. I assume down the Kebble Straight. So, yeah, Dark getting himself ahead of the Williams. Viper, he's just been sitting there. He really wanted to make that move, but I think the grip just isn't quite there. He knows there's penalties from drivers ahead of him. He'll take P6. That's a very, very good finish. But Ronhar, he has had such a good race as he comes through the chicane for one last time in this race. Ronhar is going to all of a sudden build back wall that he had, this big buffer overshadow in the championship. It's all back again after Great Britain. We come to Spa, And yeah, he is going to leave in a very, very happy position. And Square as well, picking up P2. He's done an absolutely great job today, and the penalty not costing him in the end.
That is a cracking end to the Grand Prix with everything apart from rain. One of these days we'll have it. But Spa has proven to be phenomenal here at WOR. Plenty of action throughout, and such a shame for Alfie in the end. And I'll get your opinion on driver of the day in a little bit. But let's have a quick rundown of just how dominant Ronha has now become. 29 points back in the lead of the championship. One bad week for him, and then followed by a bad week for Shadow, and that is how it all runs down, really. But it is Ronha, your race victor here at Spa-Francorchamps, with Square in second place and Alfie in third. Fourth goes to Dark Killer, a surprising pole for him. Wasn't able to convert, but still a solid race for him nonetheless. Viper from 20th to 5th. What a drive, with incredible amount of pit stops. There for the McLaren driver, but showing his quality again. Logic in 6th place with Clenzo in 7th. 8th going to WR Agonised with Raceway in 9th, with Matthew Rees rounding out the point scoring position, finishing where he started. In 11th place is WR Wilson and Plakey in 12th. 13th is got to go fast. 14th is Tribion, and Shadow is classified as a finisher, but I don't think he ever actually stepped foot in the race, unfortunately. Connor crashed with a few laps to go, with retirements to Luca, Choco, Dazed and Chili. That has been an absolutely phenomenal race. I haven't been given driver of the day. It didn't come up on my screen from the game, so I can't give that one. But who do you think it is? Guys in the chat, give us your options as well. But Bradley, what for you? It's such a few drivers that could get it.
Yeah, definitely today. I think for Viper, it's one of those out of context WOR moments that you see. P20 at the start of the race, 3 pit stops in a completely dry race, and still somehow finishing in the top 5. It's an absolutely brilliant performance. I don't really know what to do with driver of the day, because Alfie, he after just basically falling back under the safety car when they all pitted, obviously. Being forced to double stack, he was able to fight his way back up the field so well to pick up a podium in the end. But of course, Viper as well, you can't ignore that. I'm going to say Alfie, and unless you go very, very wide with the prediction, I think I probably know where you're going.
I'm going to stick with Alfie as well. Such a great race for him. So unfortunate to pick up a penalty right at the end, and to fight his way back up. He's got to win something in this race, and I think driver of the day is the option, the only one he can get. But such an amazing drive, and I feel so sorry for him. But there was a few drivers, Shadow not able to partake and defend. But we've had an incredible race, and I'm sure the guys out in the chat will let us know as well. But both Ferraris having a great start and then dropped off on the same lap. It's, there's heartbreak and elation with everyone here, I think, today.
Yeah, absolutely at the moment. I don't know. There's so many drivers that had a great race, because equally, I don't want to take much away from Ronha. He's done an absolutely phenomenal job as well today. He did everything that was needed of him, and he's just completely rebuilt his championship lead. We were saying, we were saying earlier on in the session, it's going to ebb and flow for the rest of the season now. Well, no, Shadow's got a lot to do, and it's a massive shame. I know we said earlier, it's a big shame for Shadow, and it's something he's just got to bounce back from. Try to put in a great performance next time, and you never know, he can swing it all back around so easily.
Yeah, definitely. Such a shame for Shadow. I obviously, my heart goes out to him, but I just want this season to be incredible, and it's what's happened so far is just constant battles, constant changes. I mean, Shadow now has to, as good as his teammate is tonight, Sparks was an incredible teammate, able to hold up Ronha and have those battles and give his teammate a big helping hand, but not this time around.
No, no, no. Basically, they did so well in the earlier races, just sort of racing with each other. They pulled each other along in the race, and yeah, they didn't really engage until maybe battles losing time, and that component from Shadow's race completely gone with Sparks now. So yeah, interesting to say. Also, I don't know if it's worth sort of like a half shout out to the Ferrari drivers, just sort of for how wrong it went. You just got to feel gutted for them because without that first safety car being caused, we maybe wouldn't have got the second safety car, and it all just spiraled out from in a matter of a minute for the Ferrari drivers. So yeah, real shame for Luca and for Chile. But I'm sure they're going to bounce back strong. They always try to, and they always do a great job. So yeah, they'll be hoping to pick up some good points.
Well, I am looking at the waiting room, seeing if we are going to get any of the drivers in to come in and have a little chat with us or the podium sitters anyway. But there's no one seeming to be jumping in just yet. It was a cracking race nonetheless. If you have missed it and you've just joined us now, make sure you rewatch this one. It's had pretty much everything. And, unsurprising victor in the end, really, when we think about it, when you look at the championship table. But it didn't look that way early doors, did it? And, anything in this season can happen, I'm sure.
Every race has thrown up a surprise somewhere. And I think every single race this season, you can look at the race director, the finishing results at the end of the race. It doesn't tell the full story at all. There's been so many absolutely wild things that have happened, and you know what? Going forwards, we expect absolutely nothing less.
It doesn't look like we're going to have anyone pop in. I think we've given them enough time. We don't want to bore these guys, just us talking all the time. They've had enough of that through the race, surely. But don't forget, WR has got all the other action happening throughout as well. The Twitch channel, I'm not sure, is on from Tier 2 onwards. It's the only Tier 1 on YouTube for WR Xbox League. But there is the PlayStation League on there as well. And don't forget, keep an eye out on the Twitter for when, obviously, we restarted the top tier of PC last night, and we've got some big name drivers in there. Catch George Morgan and Ginger Andy for all that showdown. Beacon, before we go, have you got any final words to give the guys on this incredible race?
Apart from a massive thank you to the drivers and the viewers for sticking with us tonight. Hope you enjoyed that as much as we did. But basically, on top of that, everyone have a great week, and hopefully we'll see you again next time.
Yeah, we're looking forward to it. I will be back with Beacon next Monday for, I am sure, what is going to be an absolute incredible race at the United States Grand Prix. I am really looking forward to it. I know a lot of people are a bit hit and miss with the USA Austin circuit, but it always proves to be an incredible one when it comes down to league racing, and that is exactly what we want here in WR. We hope you've enjoyed, and we'll catch you next week.